us on the broadcast is Mr. Maulana Kazmi. We also have Mr. Desh Ratan Nigam and Rahul Ishwar is joining us on the broadcast. Maulana Saab, सबसे पहले आपके पास आना चाहूंगी. If we still have with him. All right, we'll just try and fix that connection. Mr. Desh Ratan Nigam, coming to you. The argument which is being made in the Supreme Court is that new kind of controversies are being created because we're just a year away from elections. It was not said in as many words, but the undercurrent is that these controversies are being created by the BJP to gain electoral advantage and to polarize the atmosphere. Do you buy that argument?
No, I don't think nobody can buy such arguments. If you recall, the Muslim community had asked for postponement of Ram Mandir's case.
I remember.
If you recall, Muslim community had asked for postponement of Ram Mandir's case.
The Muslim Personal Law Board had asked it. Yes.
Therefore, the same kind of argument are being given here also. These are communal arguments. They have no legal standing and they must be avoided as the bench rightly pointed out. And therefore, we live in secular India. All grounds are open for all the communities. And you cannot say that this particular ground belongs to me. There is a Waqf Act, which is a very dangerous act, which is also is under challenge in the Supreme Court.
लेकिन देश रतन जी, अगर वो वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी है तो वहां पे कोई हिंदू फेस्टिवल कैसे हो सकता है? यही उनकी दलील है कोर्ट में कि वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी है और आपने भले ही वक्फ बोर्ड के एक्ट को चैलेंज कर दिया हो, मगर जब तक सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट उसको कैंसिल नहीं कर देता, दैट्स द लॉ ऑफ द लैंड.
See here also, one at Hubli, the ground belongs to municipal corporation. The other one at the other place is the revenue department is claiming it. So there is a conflict out there. So right now there are two claimants. Till that issue is decided, it should remain open for all the communities. That is what I'm saying. We cannot be guided by Sharia law. Remember, Muharram Julus goes through all the Hindu communities areas also. So there are Ramlila grounds all over the country which are used by all the communities. Should stop other communities from using them? No, we should not. They should also, open up. Let's not be governed by Sharia law in this country.
No, we will not be governed by Sharia law in this country and the constitution of the country, and that's why the Supreme Court is hearing it. Rahul Ishwar is also with us on the broadcast, but before that, Maulana Sahab, आपके पास आना चाहूंगी अगर आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है तो. The argument that Mr. Desh Ratan Nigam is making is that right now the title of the property is disputed. उस पे एक पूरा विवाद चल रहा है कि ये प्रॉपर्टी ईदगाह मैदान आखिर किसका है, वक्फ बोर्ड का है या जो लोकल कॉर्पोरेशन के क्लेम्स हैं वो सही है या नहीं है. जब तक ये कोर्ट निर्धारित नहीं कर लेती कि ये किसका है, तब तक हर कम्युनिटी के लिए इस मैदान को खोलने में दिक्कत क्या है? मौलाना काज़मी जी, अगर आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
नहीं, मुझे आवाज आ रही है, मैं सुन सकता हूँ. हेलो
जी, बोलिए सर.
Law of the land will prevail in our country. The land they all documented on the and this is so the people, if the Hindu community.
काज़मी साहब, आपकी लाइन में बहुत दिक्कत आ रही है. I'll just ask my team to fix that for us. Rahul Ishwar, coming to you. We've spoken about the religious diversity of this country and how different festivals are celebrated together. When a contentious issue like this comes in the public domain and is further spilled out in the court of law, where the arguments are made that it's a waqf property, you cannot have a Hindu festival, it does create tensions on the ground. And that is why you have the 1,500 strong force near the Eidgah Maidan, ensuring that there is no law and order situation that gets adverse.
Two submissions, madam. One, yes, we understand the apprehensions and the reservations of our Muslim brothers. At the same point of time, every space in India belongs to everyone and we celebrate it together. Yeah, and please remember, Ganesh also is a passing festival. That means a festival that goes. There is kind of permanent structure going to be built. So it's a passing festival where it is not going to be a permanent structure. So if temple, church, mosque, gurudwara, whatever properties we can share and use, even with the ownership, being with them or being in dispute, can be a matter of concern and dispute. But please remember, Ganesh also has a great legacy of Indian freedom struggle, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. And please remember, it was against the British that the Hindu saints and the Muslim fakirs came together for the Sannyasi rebellion, which is the base of Anandamath and Vande Mataram. So please, my only humble request is, let us find consensus, let us find conciliation, rather than confrontation. It should be conciliation and consensus that should be leading us. In Kerala, we are proud to say that we celebrate temple, church, and mosque festivals together with no bar of anything. So I respect the reservations they have, but at the same point of time, please find spaces of consensus, because some arguments will tear apart social fabric and create
that's exactly what's happening. But I also think Rahul, this is not an issue of social fabric being torn apart. I think these are issues that have always been swept under the carpet. We have not debated and discussed them. There are laws which a lot of people don't agree with, like the Waqf Property Act, which was under a challenge at one of the courts. Mr. Deshratnam Nigam was also talking about, but it remains the law of the land. It has not been cancelled by any court of law. But these are uncomfortable debates that the nation has not had so far, and perhaps we are having it. And any kind of change and transition is not going to be easy for us as a nation. Maulana Kazmi is back with us on the broadcast. Maulana Kazmi, Deshratan Nigam, Rahul Ishwar, I have two gentlemen with me on the broadcast. Both of them say that India is a diverse country, and why not have festivals, even if it's a Waqf property and it's under challenge right now, the title is disputed. In the spirit of communal harmony, we can allow the festival to happen. Maulana Kazmi. We'll try and get a voice from the other side as well, because Rahul and Mr. Deshratan Nigam are telling us the key arguments which are there for this ground to be used for Ganesh Chaturthi celebration. It is without a doubt that Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations not just have a religious legacy, but of course the legacy of the Indian freedom struggle. And that is what makes this festival so popular, and hence it's celebrated in different parts of the country with the same fervor. Let me just cut across back to Mr. Deshratan Nigam. Mr. Nigam, as I was arguing with you earlier, what are the key problems that you have, or you think as a political analyst and a lawyer, with the present Waqf Property Act? What, according to you, makes it bad in law, or somewhat violative of 14, not giving equal rights of property, or in deviation from the ordinary laws of property?
So the fact remains that these Waqf properties are an appendage from the Mughal era.
Yes.
And they were given. And once we recognize them as a part of history, but not our heritage. And that cannot be the law of the land. Law of the land has to be equal rights to both majority and minority, although our constitution is tilted towards minority, and therefore it's not truly a secular constitution.
How is it tilted towards the minority?
See, they have rights, certain rights which the Hindus don't have.
For example?
They can manage their masjid, but our temples are taken over by the government.
Okay.
Endowment. Okay. And various other issues but that's not the subject of debate today. But the fact remains, the Waqf Act itself is unconstitutional, illegal, and it has to be done away, because it has given properties, disproportionate properties, because they were bequeathed during the time of Mughal era, and that rights we do not recognize, and that appendage has to go. It has no value in the modern law, modern times, and since it has continued for over 70 years, vested interest in politics has developed around it, and therefore we have to look at it dispassionately, only in terms of law, not in terms of Mughal legacy that somebody is trying to continue. And
no,
that
Mr. Nigam, I broadly agree with most of the things you're saying, the exception being that our constitution is tilted towards the minorities. I don't think that broad sweeping statement I'd be able to accept as a student of law, but I do take your points, a lot of points that you've made.